Good afternoon, everyone. We are ready to proceed. I will call to order at this time the meeting of the Far West Texas Regional Public Defender Office Oversight Committee. It is July the 12th, 2022 at 12 o'clock noon. This meeting is called to order in accordance with the agenda, which has been signed and published, posted as required by law. I will note that we do have a quorum. We have Judge Guevara, Judge myself, Roy Ferguson, Judge Udias, Michelle Moore, David Ortiz, Judge Dominguez, Judge Evans, Jeff Burkhardt, and Judge Cano. Also with us is James McDermott, Chief Public Defender of the office. We're going to jump ahead to number 6, which is the bylaws amendments. If everyone will scroll in their book down to the red line of the proposed changes to the bylaws. That provision takes 9 votes to take action. And just in case somebody gets bumped off or loses signal, I want to make sure that we can do it while we have as many votes as we would need. Not that I'm telling you how to vote, but at least we can pass if we wish to do so. Mr. McDermott, take it away.
Judge, there's been a discussion between yourself and me after the meeting last time. The suggestion at the last meeting was to be able to vote on some of the things on the agenda today by email, and the bylaws at the time did not permit that. So on the suggested bylaws in red line, the substantive changes are on page 3 to allow a meeting to be held by Zoom or other cloud-based video conferencing app and streamed on the YouTube channel of the office. That's what we've been doing under emergency orders from the Supreme Court. At the request of members, a meeting may be held in person, can be held in any of the counties. The voting by electronic mail would allow by majority vote to the members to table an issue to receive further information. The members that may further vote at the time by email by a date that was made certain in the motion that was at the meeting. The motion and record of the vote would be by electronic mail, would be recorded in the meetings, the minutes of the meeting. That's the language I was suggesting. There's no other substantive changes. I think some discussions with Jeff Burkhardt may elicit some other changes in the future that weren't necessary for this meeting, but for this one, those were the substantive changes.
All right, so everyone can see the red line proposed insertions to the bylaws. Take a look at them and then we'll entertain a motion if anyone wishes to make such a motion.
I move to adopt the bylaws as amended.
Motion by Mr. Burkhardt to adopt. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a second by Judge Udias. Now, was that Judge Udias? It lit
Yep.
up yellow. All right.
Yes.
So now it's time for discussion. Is there anyone who wants to discuss the language that's used or the ideas proposed here? Judge Evans, you unmuted. Is there something you want to add?
No.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote at this time. All those in favor of amending the bylaws as presented here in your packet, please indicate the same by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Any opposed by like sign, please? Hearing
And
none.
I have no indication for Judge Cano opposing. He's on my phone for audio purposes.
All right.
I can hear the meeting.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that announcement, Mr. McDermott. You may take down the screen share at this time. Getting back up to the top of my agenda here. All right, back to number 3. You have been provided a copy of the June 22nd, 2022 minutes of our Oversight Board meeting last month. We are here for consideration of approval, amendment, etc.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Judge Guevara. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Judge Evans. Now, call for discussion. Are there any corrections or modifications that need to be made? All right, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed by like sign. Motion
No,
carries.
no opposition from Judge Kano as well, Judge.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. Next, we have the nomination and election of a new vice chair. Have we received any nominations for that?
I have not, Judge.
All right. The oversight bylaws. I'm going to scroll down to the appropriate bylaw here. Oh, it's not in the bylaws. It's in the other document, isn't it?
It's in the officer section of the bylaws, Judge. There's a chair, vice chair, and a secretary. I think Judge Urias has been the secretary for quite some time. Judge Ferguson, you are the chair, obviously. Only the chair needs to be a member of one of the 7 permanent members. The vice chair can be any member of the board.
All right. Does anyone wish to nominate anyone else or themselves for the position of vice chair?
I nominate David Ortiz, an attorney in private practice in Valverde County.
All right, Mr. Ortiz. Any other nominations from the floor? All right, Mr. Ortiz, is this a nomination you'd like me to advance to the board?
That's fine, Judge.
All right, then the chair will propose to the board the appointment of F. David Ortiz to serve as vice chair for the remainder of Ms. Balovich's term. Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Judge Dominguez moves. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion after a second by Judge Evans? I will call for the vote. Mr. Ortiz, you will abstain. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Again, no opposition from Judge Kano, Judge.
That being the case, I hereby appoint Mr. Ortiz to be the vice chair for the remainder of Ms. Balovich's current term.
Judge, for minute purposes, I believe that Judge Kano has indicated in the chat to me that his votes were aye for all of them.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ortiz. Welcome aboard. You have been swept up into leadership as quickly as we could get you on the board. So thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to number 5, review and approval of the revised budget. I believe this budget revision stems from an action of the board on the July meeting regarding salaries and benefits. Mr. McDermott, take it away.
Judge, the decision was made at the board to give me a raise and ask me to revise the budget based on those numbers. Separately after the meeting, Judge, you asked me to give the breakdown of the county contributions, the changes to the individual county judges by email before this meeting, which I did last week. I emailed it to each of the individual county judges based on the historic percentage contributions of each county. Those are reflected in this budget down at the bottom, as well as this change has not been presented to the TIDC board. That would be a grant application that I believe is due July 19th in order to do a grant modification. And so I presented the numbers both with and without TIDC contribution for the board's information. TIDC generally commitment as part of our sustainable grant for rural public defenders is 2/3 funding of the expenses of the program, with the counties contributing 1/3. So the numbers that I gave for the counties involved one set of numbers if TIDC does make the match, and if they don't, the second column is the county contribution for the entire amount. The total amount of the raise plus fringe benefits total was $13,758. And so if the TIDC does the match, the county contribution of that would be $3,625, with the breakdowns as I've previously circulated to the county judges.
Do we have any indication as to whether the TIDC is likely to approve the modification under the grant?
Judge, I hesitate to speak on behalf of our board, but I don't think the amount is all that large. That's, I guess, all I can say about it.
All right. So basically, the way I read this, or the way I would interpret it, is the second column is what will apply until such time as the TIDC approves and funds the 2/3 portion under the grant. Is that fair to say, Mr. McDermott?
Judge, and this is a budget for the fiscal year starting October 1st.
Okay.
And so the grant modification is due July 19th, and I believe the TIDC board meeting then is at the beginning of August. Is that correct, Mr. Burkhart? Or the middle of August?
Yeah, middle of August.
Between two trials, that's my video series now, between two trials. And so
I'm the only person who gets that joke, Mr. McDermott.
I saw you smile, Judge, and I'm glad you appreciated it. So this wouldn't go into effect until October 1st on either set of numbers.
All right.
And
All
Mr.
right.
Burkhart says the board meeting is August 19th. So my modification, and I'll get a letter from Judge Urias, who is, I have to say to the board, Judge Urias is so responsive to me getting letters when I need letters asking for money from other people. So thank you, Judge Urias. But so that we would know the final answer to that by August 19th.
All right. Does anyone have any questions before I call for a motion? All right, I'll call for a motion if there is one to be made at this time.
I move that we approve the budget.
Judge Dominguez has moved to approve the budget as amended. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Judge Udias. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
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 Judge
Judge
Cano's
Cano is an aye, and he also wishes that he had jumped into second before anybody else had.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Cano. Anyone opposed, same sign, please.
Judge, I abstain.
We have no opposition. We have an abstaining from Mr. Burkhart on behalf of TIDC. That being the case, the motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. McDermott. Back up to the agenda. Now we have number 7, public comment. Has anyone signed up for public comment here today?
There is nobody in the waiting room, Judge.
I'm not aware of anyone requesting public comment either.
The link and information was posted in Culberson County with the agenda.
All right. It appears we have no further business on our agenda today. Mr. McDermott, are you aware of any further business?
No, sir.
Having concluded the agenda, all I need is a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Judge Evans has moved to adjourn, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. It's good to see everybody.
Good to see you.
See y'all.
Y'all take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.